The definition of legislature. Legislature is a deliberative body of government with the power to make laws. The legislature is known by several names, namely Parliament, Congress, and National Assembly. In a parliamentary system, the legislature is the highest body and directs the executive. In a presidential system, the legislature is an equal and independent branch of government from the executive. In addition to enacting laws, legislators usually also have the power to raise taxes and enforce budgetary and other expenditures. The legislators also sometimes write threats and decide wars.
Member. Legislature itself is made up of individual members known as legislature of voting on proposed legislation. A legislature usually consists of a number of legislators. As legislature usually meet in a particular room filled with seats for legislature. In Indonesian, the legislature body is defined as a legislature body consisting of the DPRD, DPR, and MPR. Structure. The legislative body itself consists of the People's Consultative Assembly or MPR, the People's Representative Constituencies or DPR, and the Regional Representative Constituency or DPD. Size. Legislature themselves vary widely in size. Legislative measures are a trade-off between efficiency and representations. The smaller the legislature, the more efficiently it can operate, but the larger the legislature, the better it can represent the political difference of its constituents. Comparative analysis of national legislatures have found that the size of a country left house tends to be proportional to the growth of its population. Power. Legislatures in institutions themselves of institutions or concrete that have the text and authority to make or formulate the constitutions or the existing constitution in a country.
The function and role of legislature are described in four legislative functions, namely the representative function, the budget function, the regulation making function, and the supervisory function. From the result of research and analysis, it was found that the function of deputy representative is marked by the high level of compliance submitted by the community to be regional legislative body, which indicated that the function carried out by its internal for community aspiration is still failed not to be in accordance with community expectations.
Provisions regarding the legislative system of Indonesia and the United States are regulated in legislation in the United States Constitution. In the parliamentary system, the legislative is the highest body in the executive. In the presidential system, the legislative is the same branch of government as from the executive. Whereas in the United States, which adheres to the bicameral system, the representative system of its people is the Congress, which has two rooms, namely the Senate and the House of Representatives. The authority of the House of Representatives of the Republic of Indonesia as a legislative system is to form laws discussed with the President for mutual agreement. Discuss and give approval to government regulation to change the law. Pay attention to the DPD's consideration of the draft state budget for revenue and expenditure. Set the state budget together with the President by taking into consideration the DPD. And now, difference between presidential system of government in Indonesia and the United States of America. 1. President term. The President in Indonesia is elected for a 5-year term, while the President in the United States is elected for a 4-year term. In both countries, the President can only be elected for 2 terms. And 2. Presidential election method. In Indonesia, the President is elected directly by the majority vote method in the general election. the presidential candidate who gets more than 15% of the votes and declared the winner. While the United States, the president is elected indirectly. The winner of the presidential election is the presidential candidate who gets the most number of electoral voters. Electoral voter is obtained by getting the most votes in the presidential election in the state. 3. State form. The form of the state in Indonesia is a unitary state, so that every regulation made at the central level such as laws and presidential decrees will apply throughout Indonesia. In contrast, the United States is federal, so each state has the power to make its own laws. The central government of the United States is only authorized to regulate joint state affairs, such as transportation and interstate commerce, international regulation, and the defense. 4. Legislative body. Indonesia has two legislative chambers, namely the House of Representatives (DPR) and the Regional Representative Council (DPD), which together form the People Consultative Assembly (MPR). The DPR represents Central Electoral District and is elected from political parties, while the DPD represents the Province Council for among individuals. On the other hand, the United States also has two legislative chambers, the House of Representatives and the Senate, which together form the United States Congress. Members of the House of Representatives represent specific constitutions, while the Senate represents the states. However, in the United States, both chambers of the legislature represent political parties. In addition, the Senate has the ability to veto discussion of the House of Representatives. The DPD doesn't have this veto power in Indonesia.